Before we get into the latest on the Bengals rumors and news-wise, what do you guys like more, specifically for the Bengals in the offseason? D for the NFL draft, T for trades and trade rumors, or F for free agency and targets and etc. stuff there? DTF, pick one for me in the comment section right now. We're going to break down the latest rumors on the Bengals, both for the NFL draft and for free agency. No trade stuff today. We will go back to that, I'm sure, in the not-too-distant future. First up is the idea of signing Josh Jacobs. PFF named the Raiders a top free agent, or the Bengals, a top free agency destination for the Raiders running back. It's a big name. It's appealing. I'm not sure how feasible it would end up being. Here was the argument from PFF. The Bengals hypothetically move on from running back Joe Mixon in this exercise, getting younger at the position with Jacobs. Since he has fed Mixon carries and targets over the years, and Jacobs can shoulder the same load as a workhorse back. Not the worst argument. Pretty accurate overall. And in theory, Jacobs would be an upgrade over Joe Mixon. He would also probably cost you a little bit more than what Jacobs would be making. Mixon the past 4 years has been fairly steady. For a team that is craving more explosive plays, Mixon doesn't offer a ton of those. He'll get you 4 yards. He'll do a great job of getting a little bit more than what's blocked, and he'll do a good job of avoiding negative runs, good goal line stuff, end zone, etc. But I don't want to pay big money for a 4-yard per carry back. In theory, I wouldn't be doing that for Josh Jacobs, although in 3 of his last 4 years, he's been at that 4-yard per carry number or fewer. He's had a big workload. He wasn't that productive amid injury in 2023, but he was also awesome in 2022. So which version am I getting? And how much does Mixon cost relative to what Jacobs would cost me? Running back is a need for this team. Joe Mixon, you got to make that decision in about a month and make your mind, is he back? Is he not back? Cut or not? Chase Brown, meanwhile, I like him. He's an explosive piece. He can definitely be my RB2, but I think I need more than just Chase Brown and Travion Williams is free agent, by the way, and Chris Evans. That's not going to get it done for me in the running back room. So more on this to come. But would you sign Josh Jacobs? Y for yes, N for no. It is the pinned comment on today's video. So if that ad plays here on YouTube, great. Take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. The big question for me is, okay, how much money does Josh Jacobs really want? What is he looking to make on the open market? The running back market, frankly, is a mess. Excluding some guys, like Mixon that might get cut, some other guys who are going to be free agents, Derrick Henry, etc. These are the highest paid guys, and you might not have Alvin Kamara on that list for much longer. He might be cut by the Saints. It's McCaffrey, Kamara, Jonathan Taylor. That's probably what Jacobs wants. He probably wants to beat JT because that's the new high-paid running back, right? But then it's Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones took a pay cut once already, and Miles Sanders. We're talking about a massive gap from your last 2 big, quote-unquote, backfield contracts. JT at 14, Miles Sanders at 6.35. That is a huge gap with a very deep running back class among free agents, including but not limited to potentially somebody like Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry. This is ordered, by the way, of most yards last year. Henry, Swift, Pollard, Barkley. You want explosive plays? That's Saquon Barkley for you. Devin Singletary, Gus Edwards, Jacobs, James Conner, Austin Eckler. Everyone loves a good Zach Moss, right? That's like the dream. Like, he's a cheaper option. We'll see how cheap he ends up being. But the supply of running backs outweighs the demand for big-time contracts. So you should keep your door open for potentially signing a running back that's a good one on a cheaper deal than you might have thought. Not that different, much cheaper, by the way, than the Orlando Browns scenario last year. Does Jacobs get a bag? If so, probably not the route I would prefer to go down. If he ends up being affordable, though, you should consider it. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy made easy. You're not battling thousands of pros and sharks and sharps, etc. It's just more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections. You're going to watch those winnings roll in because all you got to do is beat the numbers. You don't have to be a top 5%, outcome. It's just beating the numbers, all you got to do. You can also mix and match NFL and NBA, NFL college basketball, or maybe NBA college basketball as we move forward away from the NFL. By the way, the flex play is always the way to go. It's a lower return, but it gives you some cushion in case you end up getting one wrong, which happens a lot to me. Now, I am not doing the flex play on this prize pick slate for the Super Bowl. Instead, I'm taking the freebie, Patrick Mahomes more than a half passing yard. Count it. And I'll go more than Christian McCaffrey yards on the ground and more than Travis Kelce catches. That's McCaffrey yards and Kelce catches. I love those two. They're going to be the focal points of their offenses in the big game. Again, folks, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. The other name PFF mentioned was signing Dalton Schultz, the Texans tight end. From a need perspective, probably even more valuable than what you've got going on in the running back room with Jacobs. Here's the argument from PFF, saying Tanner Hudson quietly carved out a meaningful role in the Bengals offense in the second half of the season as an underneath pass catcher. 35 catches, 5 forced missed tackles, 19 first downs from week 9 onward, all ranking as a top 15 mark among tight ends. Nevertheless, Hudson and Irv Smith Jr. are free agents, so Cincinnati once again has a talent void at the position. Capitalizing on a depressed tight end market in free agency could be wise. We'll break down the Schultz angle here more in depth, but if you could only pick one of those two players to sign, and the contracts might not be that different, by the way, who would it be? JJ for Josh Jacobs or DS for Dalton Schultz? I will take this a step further than what PFF mentioned of, you got two guys free agents. They're all free agents. Hudson, Sample, Irv Smith, and Mitchell Wilcox are all out of contracts. They will be free agents this upcoming offseason. So you have a massive need at tight end. There's no bigger spot on your roster that needs more help entering free agency right now than tight end because you have nothing at the moment. So Schultz would be an instant tight end one for you. He has been a reliable piece for a long time in Texas, both with the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans. He'll get you around 60 catches. He'll get you around 10 to 11 yards per catch. He'll get you around 600, 700 yards. He'll get you 5-ish touchdowns. That's valuable. But I don't know if you can steal him. If you're Houston, don't you want to keep him? It clearly worked with Stroud and Schultz in general. Removing playmakers and top targets from your young quarterback is not a route most organizations like to go, which means you'd probably have to win a bidding war. I don't know if you want to win a bidding war at tight end. Now, in general, I think adding a tight end and in reality tight ends make a ton of sense for you, even if that means bringing back Hudson and Sample and drafting someone or signing a veteran. I think tight end has to be a focal point for this organization this offseason. We will have more available targets in free agency and the draft for you. If you haven't already, please hit that sub button. 7,000 subs is the next target goal here on Bengals Breakdown. You'll get free Bengals videos when you do sub, so don't miss out. Hit it right now. I also want to hit the latest NFL.com mock draft before we go. Lance Zierlein had the Bengals getting Olu Fashanu, the tackle out of Penn State. I would be blown away if this happened, and I am sprinting to the podium. The NFL is going to get mad at me because I didn't take all 10 minutes like I'm supposed to maximize viewership, and I am jumping over the moon with the Fashanu pick. Here's how it happened. Ignoring the quarterback selections and Marvin Harrison going number 3 overall, etc. Some notable prospects who could be in play for the Bengals at number 18. Roma Dunzier goes 4. Taliese Fuaga goes 6. Who I think is a prime candidate at number 18. He's off the board in the top 6 for the Giants. My guy Marshall Green was in shambles over it. Joe Alt to the Titans. That makes sense. Malik Neighbors to the Bears. That's the dream scenario for both those teams. J.C. Latham goes 10. Again, another prime right tackle option. Jared Verse goes number 11. Byron Murphy goes 13. Liatu Latu goes 14. Almost got Brock Bowers at 15, but oh, wouldn't that have been nice? And Dallas Turner goes 16. Okay, I love this pick. This is a wonderful outcome for Cincinnati. I'd be blown away if he fell. You can argue he was better the previous season, but you've got a young left tackle option long term. He can go play the right side. Hasn't done it, that's fine. Put him over there. It'll work out just fine. So grade the hypothetical pick of Olu Fashanu. It's an easy A+ for me. How do you grade it? A, B, C, D, or F? Fashanu's numbers did drop a little bit, but the argument of, he's got upside, but hasn't materialized. Okay. I think we're ignoring other tackles who fit the exact same mold, but whatever. 11 hurries allowed all season. The run blocking can be a little bit better, but this would be a fantastic selection for Cincinnati. Some other notable guys on the board here. 2 right tackle options, young developmental pieces. Amarius Mims, Tyler Guyton. Nate Wiggins was the next pick, so I'll mention him. Brian Thomas was there, by the way. He fell all the way to the back end of round 1. I wouldn't be shocked if he went top 15 come draft day. So between Thomas and Fashanu and the other tackles and Graham Barton too, a lot of good options there for the Bengals in that mock draft. I don't know how realistic it is, but hey, never going to be mad about hypothetically getting good players.